The realm of mankind is narrow and constricted. Always the forces of chaos press upon its borders, seeking to enslave its populace, rape its riches, and steal its treasures. If it were not for a stout few, many in the realm would indeed fall prey to the evil which surrounds them. Yet there are always certain exceptional and brave members of humanity, as well as their similar individuals among its allies, dwarves, elves, and halflings, who rise above the common level and join battle to stave off the darkness which would otherwise overwhelm the land. Bold adventurers from the realm set off for the Borderlands to seek their fortune. It is these adventurers who, provided they survive the challenge, carry the battle to the enemy. Such adventurers meet the forces of chaos in a testing ground where only the fittest will return to relate the tale. Here, the individuals will become skilled in their profession, be it fighter or magic user, cleric or thief. They will be tried in the fire of combat, those who return hardened and more fed. True, some few who do survive the process will turn from law and good and serve the masters of chaos, but most will remain faithful and ready to fight chaos wherever it threatens to infect the realm. You are indeed members of that exceptional class, adventurers who have journeyed to the keep on the Borderlands in search of fame and fortune. Of course, you are inexperienced, but you have your skills and a heart that cries out for adventure. You have it in you to become great, but you must gain experience and knowledge and greater skill. There is much to learn, and you are willing and eager to be about it. Each of you has come with everything which could possibly be given you to help. Now you must fend for yourselves. Your fate is in your hands, for better or worse. Ahead up the winding road atop a sheer walled mount of stone looms the great keep. Here, at one of civilization's strongholds between good lands and bad, you will base yourselves and equip for forays against the wicked monsters who lurk in the wilds. Somewhere nearby, amidst the dark forest and tangled fens, are the caves of chaos, where fell creatures lie in wait. All this you know, but before you dare adventure into such regions, you must become acquainted with the other members of your group, for each life will depend upon the ability of the others to cooperate against the common foe. Now, before you enter the grim fortress, it is time for introductions and an exchange of information, for fate, it seems, to have declared that you are to become an adventurous band, who must pass through many harrowing experiences together on the path which leads towards greatness. You have traveled for many days, leaving the realm and entering into the wilder area of the Borderlands. Farms and towns have become less frequent, and travelers few. The road is climbed higher as you enter the forested and mountainous country. You now move up a narrow, rocky track. A sheer wall of natural stone is on your left, the path falling away to a steep cliff on the right. There is a small widening ahead where the main gate to the keep is. The blue-clad men-at-arms who guard the entrance shout at you to give your names and to state your business. All along the wall you see curious faces peering down at you, eager to welcome new champions of law, but ready with crossbow and polearm to give another sort of welcome to their enemies. Greetings, this is Ross Elgar, and you are watching Dungeons & Dragons Online. Okay, I have created a new character here that I have aptly named after myself. What we're going to be doing is, well, just recently, for those of you who've seen my Facebook post, I had gone through a copy of the original Keep on the Borderlands, the Dungeons & Dragons module written by Gary Gygax back in the late 70s. For which the most people who've ever played Dungeons & Dragons in the original game played through, because it was part of a box set, either the one of the many early box sets of the basic Dungeons & Dragons game, along with there was one other. There was B1, the In Search of the Unknown, but B2 is probably the most widely published and most widely played Dungeons & Dragons module ever among the history of its fandoms. Several months ago, and those of you who follow the Dungeons & Dragons online community know that they released the Keep on the Borderlands. So one of the fun projects that I wanted to do was compare the original content to what they have recreated in the game and see how close they've gotten and kind of give them a score based upon that. I haven't really figured out how I'm going to score it, so we'll just kind of go with that percentage system as far as accuracy and go there. But I've already played through this on a couple other servers, and it's really, really well done. So I've just created a new ranger by my moniker, and we're going to get started here. Now, the way you get into the Keep on the Borderlands is that once you create a new character, you're going to have to skip basically the Isle of Porthos, and you get transported to the Keep on the Borderlands. Go ahead and load up here. Okay, here we go. So this is the guy you got to come to once you get through the whole Isle of Porthos thing, and you got to go here. Talk to Kragan, the gatekeeper. I greet you, traveler. The gatekeepers need assistance with an important mission. We need someone to travel to the Keep on the Borderlands and recover a page of the Codex of the Infinite Planes. If there's nothing tying you to Korthos, perhaps a newcomer like you might be willing to help. It would be a fine experience for a novice adventurer. What do you mean by a Codex page? The Codex of the Infinite Planes was an artifact of the Great Power and Great Evil. The Codex was destroyed, but its infinite pages were scattered throughout the plains. Evil creatures seek out these pages, drawn by their malevolent powers. So we gatekeepers try to keep the pages first, to keep them out of the hands of evil. Why not get the page yourself? We gatekeepers devote most of our time to protecting Eberron from threats from other planes. Our numbers are few. We cannot risk any of the druids of our order on this task. But adventurers, well, risking their lives for pay is what people like you do. That sounds like some kind of adventure. Send me to the Keep on the Borderlands. And the Codex of the Infinite Planes is just a hook to get you into some of these adventures that they're doing on the side. I'm not sure where or how that started, but I know there's another dungeon that involves that. I don't know much. I haven't done it. Up until lately, I've only been a premium member, which means I've paid for content in the past and I have access to certain things. But here recently, with the COVID outbreak, they've opened up all the content. So up until I think the end of April, you can play anything. A lot of the stuff that you would have to purchase previously, it's available to play for free in the game, which is really nice. So. Okay, here we are. Let's zoom in our map. This is the keep. And I wish there was no. Wish there was a way to zoom in on this, or is there a way I can make this big? Let's make this bigger. No, not just moving it. That's just moving it. It's not letting me make it bigger. No. 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 Okay. That's the biggest it's going to let me do. But this is a fair representation to what the original is. Now, through the magic of video editing, we will take a look at how the actual keep looks. But you come in here, here's the keep. And immediately one of the things you want to pay attention to as I swing my sword here is this particular layout right here. If you read the descriptions in the actual book, this is very reminiscent of what you would actually find. There's a warehouse, there's a stable, there would be a guard here you would actually meet and with. If we go this way, you see a couple of NPCs loitering about, and then we come along to the main wall of the keep. Now, this particular spot right here, if I remember right, is not necessarily there. Now, this is one of the ways into that. Only keep officials and members of the guard beyond this point. Now, that's pretty much accurate to the original module. The only way you would ever get into the inner bailey, this, for those of you who don't know, this is the outer bailey of the keep. Uh, Now, this part right here, if I remember right, is not necessarily there. You had to come down this way. These stairs are not in the original keep. But you do get a good view if you come up here, and then you can actually come up on this level and come up here. And then this way you can actually get up onto the battlement, which is kind of nice. And there's a way in here. And you get out onto the outer battlements and look out. And here's one of the massive ballustas that are marked in your game. But you get what they've done is a great recreation in scale, as far as just how big the keep in the original module really is. Now, for the most part, it's not entirely accurate. Like all of this down in here were a series of guild buildings, places for people to stay at, but for the most part, this street is fairly reminiscent to what it was. They've obviously have changed some things. Now, I think a lot of what they have done from the original keep standpoint, as far as the inner and especially the outer bailey and the surrounding environs, is actually based on Return to the Keep on the Borderlands, which changes quite a bit. But in comparison, though, the actual gate, the towers, and the surrounding wall are very much exactly like it is, and the fact that you can't get into the inner bailey without invitation, that is reminiscent. But as far as how simple it was to get up here to these walls, and here's another set of doors I can't get into. Can't operate the ballista, which is unfortunate. Let's see, what's he saying? It's perfectly safe here inside the keep. Of course, that's no comfort to those who have lost their homes. So basically, in their version of the keep on the Borderlands, the people of the countryside have fled into the keep because of ongoing attacks by marauding bands of monsters. The valley may look peaceful from up here, but right now it's crawling with monsters. And so, as with true any role-playing game, by talking to the NPCs, you get the scope of what's going on around you. The monsters haven't dared to attack the keep, but if their numbers... Welcome to the keep. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. But right now it's crawling with monsters. May look peaceful. Now, immediately out over the valley, you notice this little sort of Emperor Palpatine looking monument. That's not part of the original module. And over here we can see the river. Now, that is very much part of the original module, although, as I recall, it doesn't quite come close to the road coming up the keep. Well, yeah, that's kind of... I'd have to look at the map on that. Maybe my mind is not representing my memory here, because I'm not looking at the original keep map now as I play this. We'll do that through the magic of video editing. But... Ooh, took some damage there. Ouch. Okay. Well, here's where you come to get your quests. We've got Norwood Colm, the Castellan. One of the interesting things I've always thought about, when they created the Keep on the Borderlands, it was originally for what was then called the Known World, and which would later be called part of Mystara in the kingdom of Karameikos, or excuse me, the Grand Duchy of Caramichaels, which would later be a box set, the Kingdom of Caramichaels. Um, and there was a number of mentions in various publications over the years as far as where they would recommend you place this. And one of them was a keep up on the borderlands of the Grand Duchy of Caramichaels called Castellan Keep. Well, I always thought it was funny that the person in charge of the keep was called the Castellan, which is a title, but apparently Castellan was also the person's name. So they would be Castellan Castellan, which is a little bit of humor that, you know, um, got to me a little bit. I always thought that was kind of funny. All right, let's talk to the keep bailiff now. This is probably the inner bailey. Let's see, we've got a captain of the guard, a sergeant of the guard. Now, having gone through all of the contents of the inner and outer bailey of the keep on the borderlands, for my own campaign and for its posterity, I thought, how hard would it be to try to place names on all the unmentioned NPCs? Because in the original module, none of them are mentioned by name. There are 280 plus. I say plus for a reason. There are at least, at the bare minimum, 280. However, that's not all there are. There are several references to people by trade that keep a business inside the inner bailey where it mentions that person and their family without any more details. So there is at least 280 plus, so probably somewhere between 280 to 290, maybe when you count some of the foot traffic that's mentioned in the keep on a day-to-day basis, somewhere about 300 people inside the keep entirety at any one given time, not counting holidays, which it states that the people from the surrounding environs would come and they would have a festival and market over by the well, which is in the direction I'm going over here, where you round this corner. And according to the original map, there's a well. Let's see if, okay, I don't see a well. This is, all this is quite a bit different. Let's see, right about, okay, there it is. Yep, this is where the well is, actually in the actual game, and this was the actual market. Instead, they have decided to put a number of trainers over here. But then this particular section here, now this is entirely accurate, or at least a accurate representation of what is modeled in the keep. This is the gatehouse to the inner bailey, which you only were granted access to if in fact you did something heroic, which in terms of the original module was brought back an item of like 1,300 gold pieces, or did something significant, or saved somebody in the city. And there are a number of notable NPCs that you interact with right away. One of them is the corporal of the guard, of which there are several. There's a sergeant of the guard, a captain of the guard, not to be confused with the corporals, sergeants, and captains of the watch. A little bit different. Pretty much everybody on the watch is in the inner bailey. Now this entirely here, this is not quite original B2 standards. It may be more in keeping with the return to the visit. But anyway, let's go ahead and get a quest here. All who fight for good are welcome here, adventurer. Are you willing to keep us? Are you willing to help us defeat the minions of the cult of evil chaos? We can start you with something simple. Kobolds, perhaps. Oh, wait a minute. What's this cult of evil chaos? Let's talk to the Castellan here. You must have come from far, traveler. I can see from your garb that you are not from this kingdom, nor even from the borderlands beyond. I wish I could give one who has come so far a better welcome to our keep under attack. Well, I didn't see any army outside. A foul cult and its monstrous followers have taken up residence in the caves of chaos nearby. They have assaulted our farmsteads and burned our homes throughout our valley. The residents have been forced to take refuge here in the keep. I will be frank, traveler. I need warriors here, not more mouths to feed. If you stay here, I will ask you to fight. Okay, keep on the Borderlands arc. I'm willing to help. Splendid! Your terms seem reasonable enough, though I'm not sure what sort of artifacts you will find way out here in the Borderlands. We should start you, excuse me, out with something modest. Not everyone is destined for a warrior's life. Best to find that out sooner. Speak with Rolf Acton, the... Okay, he will set you up with your house. Okay. So now we're on our quest. So yeah, okay, do that. I can take some kobolds, no problem. And deal with the creatures. Yay, we've got our first quest. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to do, aside from compare this keep to the original module, was to look at the dungeons and compare how entirely accurate they are. So this is planning to be probably a series of vids while I do this, because there's no way that I can go through the entirety of the Keep and Borderlands game and compare it to modules in one session and do it any semblance of justice. So we're going to come in here, and I do recommend you get a hireling, a cleric, because once you get out into the keep, there are places that you can... I don't have any gold. Well, okay, that's... so much for that idea. Well... yeah, that's right, I don't have any money. Check my... yeah, I don't have any money. I am broke. Okay, and I've got all this starting equipment that I can't sell. So we're going to go off and we're going to earn some coin here. Try to get some better gear. Alright, yep, out we go.